They say that insanity is defined as doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And well, truly, nothing illustrates insanity like showrunner Lauren Hissrich, who, if you didn't know, is responsible for one of the biggest fumbles in entertainment history, The Witcher. It's been years since season 3, and through all the fan backlash, the mounds and mounds of video essays and articles criticizing the bastardization of the source material, and even the departure of the show's biggest star, Henry Cavill, you'd think old Lauren would have learned a thing or seven leading into season 4.
How about new?
Well, you'd think, but that's the thing about modern Hollywood talking heads and writers. They don't learn anything. They just do whatever the fuck they want to. Simply put, The Witcher Season 4 is the same old bilge. A disaster of a show that costs hundreds of millions of dollars for no fucking reason, forces its headlining character into a bunch of meandering side quests while of course putting the two girl bosses at the forefront of everything like we haven't seen that shit 1,000 times over the last 10 years. And it's so horrible, so grating to watch as someone who's read all the books and put hundreds of hours into the video games that I can't tackle it all in a single video, because I was only able to watch about 3 episodes before I started considering shoving my head into the garbage disposal. Again. So grab your Swallow and Thunderbolt, let's get into this multi-part series that I'm calling The Witcher Season 4 is Ass. Why? Because I'm an immature idiot. Anyway, let's talk about it. My biggest issue with the first 3 episodes that I'm sure isn't going to magically fix itself because it's something we've all been talking about for years, and yet here the hell it still is that in a show titled The Witcher, there's not enough Witcher. Before I piss myself off too much though, for all the new folks around here, let it be known that we actually encourage conversation on this channel. So if you agree or even disagree with anything I'm about to say, voice your opinion in the comments below. I don't believe in deleting or holding anything, just attack opinions, not people, and I'll make sure to meet you down there, because I respond to everyone in due time. Anyway, instead of being directly involved in the main story, which surrounds the search for Ciri, because of course it does, that's all the show has been, and the ever-changing political landscape of the Nilfgaard invasion backed by Vilgefortz's rise to power, Geralt just, well, he pretty much does fucking nothing.
Fuck.
If you play The Witcher 3, you might be familiar with side quests like Paper Chase, Fake Paper, and the Cabaret, which all have you doing tedious bullshit, either running back and forth, fetching stuff, escorting a useless villager through hordes of mindless monsters, and even settling a debt in a horse race. Pretty boring stuff, but I'd rather play through those missions 10 times over than watch the useless shit Geralt does in this show. He fights a wraith for about 10 seconds. He rescues an ungrateful girl from being raped by exclusively white men in a fight scene that had worse choreography than a Katy Perry concert. He saves 2 women from being burned alive as accused witches, only for one of them to die to Nilfgaard a minute later anyway. And oh, he meets Regis.
Who?
Now, I want you to visualize what a vampire looks like, because that's exactly what Regis is. Visualize the vampires of old, the ones that would call Europe their home, like the famous Dracula, Count Orlok, Vlad the Impaler, and even Elizabeth Bathory. Got it? Okay, great, because here's how Netflix decided to portray a vampire.
Really?
What in the... what the fuck, man? I love me some Lawrence Fishburne, but how the shit do we go from this to this? Whatever. So, Geralt and his crew do next to nothing the first 3 episodes, besides running around, doing stupid shit, all the while Geralt is still nursing his injury inflicted by Vilgefortz, and oh yeah, he's like 1 step shy of outright simping over Yennefer and Ciri. Oh, Henry, I bet you're sitting back and laughing your ass off. Yennefer, unlike The Witcher in a show called The Witcher, takes up the bulk of the story in season 4, just like she has in past seasons, so just imagine my shock there.
I'm gonna kill myself!
Which is funny, really, because I noticed in episode 3 that Yennefer turns Francesca, the Queen of the Elves, into a jade statue while trying to convince her to join the Lodge of Sorceresses. In the books, the polar opposite happens. Yennefer is the one who gets turned into a statue for 47 days, if my memory serves me correctly, but of course Netflix couldn't be bothered to follow the source material in this one either, because that would mean their big franchise front woman would be sidelined for a lot of the season. And we can't be having any of that shit. Also, when did Yennefer become so skilled with, well, pretty much any weapon? She's always been a powerful sorceress, even in the books and games, so I'll give her the nod in that aspect, but now she's just picking up random shit in the streets and beating up men twice her size in full body armor? You just couldn't help yourself, could you, Netflix? Even when she's canonically, arguably the strongest magic wielder in the entire Witcher universe, she's also gotta be a badass warrior lady too.
Oh, come on!
And then there's Ciri, who's tagging along with the most diverse, uncharismatic, lifeless band of retards I've ever seen in a fantasy show.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
I mean, just fucking look at them. All that's missing is a wheelchair-bound black trans woman with rickets, and they'll have a full roster for the Victim Olympics. Now, I know a lot of people's gripes with her storyline is the borderline forced lesbian relationship between her and whatever the fuck this thing is.
You one ugly motherfucker.
But as a big fan of the books, I can confirm that Missile is indeed a love interest of Ciri's. Now, do I think the relationship is next level cringe and Missile almost seems to be emotionally manipulating Ciri? Yes I do. Do I think it's odd that this is the first relationship we've seen Ciri in, despite her being bisexual in the games and books? Also, yes. Do I think Netflix tripped over themselves the moment they realized there's a small section of the books where Ciri is gay, and they're very likely going to keep it around as long as they possibly can? Yes, and yes. And it's funny, really, that they stick to the source material when it fits their modern agenda. Crazy how that works.
Coincidence? I think not!
But that's it. That's all I've got to say so far about the first 3 episodes of Witcher Season 4. I didn't talk about much because even the practically nothing that has happened so far was so forgettable that I struggled to write this damn script to go over it. And the thing is, Netflix could have had it all. You know, looking back at this, they really could have. They could have had their Game of Thrones. They could have had their Walking Dead. They could have had the next big thing for years and years to come, with a built-in fan base hungry to see one of their favorite book series and games play out on screen. But they just couldn't lay their politics aside. They couldn't be bothered to follow the source material. They couldn't smoke check an egotistical, arrogant, self-righteous showrunner into giving the fans what they actually fucking wanted. And well, here we are, where I'm talking about my favorite fantasy world of all time in a video series titled The Witcher Season 4 is Ass. Ugh. Anyway, check back in tomorrow for Ass Part 2, where I'll be going over the next couple of episodes if I don't drink myself to death first. I appreciate y'all for checking out my review. I'll talk to y'all later.
Say what again?